everybody, I'm Bryan from Orchids by Bryan, and welcome to my November What's in Bloom Orchid Collection update. I have a couple really cool plants to highlight this month. Lots of Cattleyas in bloom, so you're in for a treat. And I can't wait to show you all of the blooms that I have in the collection. Alright, so without further ado, let's start off this orchid collection update. Check out this beautiful Cattleya hybrid. You may have seen the buds in my last What's in Bloom in October, and it is officially opened up fully. 4 flowers, a gorgeous Cattleya. Here is the name. This is from Waldor Orchids, and this is the BLC Momilani Rainbow Elizabeth Off. And it's a really wonderful plant. I love the flowers. The flowers are just stunning. They start off almost like a tan color, and then they get just more pink and like light pink, and the yellow intensifies, and it's a really special flower. So wonderful hybrid, definitely worth the wait. Excited to show you that here in November. All right. Well, over here, this plant is still in bloom. I believe I highlighted it in my last video, but I'll show you it again this time. Wonderful Cattleya hybrid with an amazing lip, gorgeous red flares on the on each petal. It is a really beautiful little Cattleya. You can see it has 2 spikes, and the name on this guy is right here. SLC Love Fresh Select, crossed with Epicatleya Kayaguchi. Really cool hybrid. Love my Epicatleya hybrid, so super cool. This plant just came in today as I'm filming this video. It's not in bloom, but I'm extremely excited to add it to my collection. This is a pretty uncommon Cattleya schilleriana trilobello, and the flowers are absolutely amazing. This is a very difficult plant to come by, and I'm very excited to have it in the collection. So can't wait to show you that when it does bloom out. All right, well, the 3 flowers that were open for me on this wonderful little mini cat are done, but I do have the last and final flower just about opening up. Not sure how it's going to come out. Looks like it's maybe slightly deformed, not sure. But yeah, this flower is really cool. This is SLC Candy Sparks Fall Candy by Love Fresh Peter's Pink. Really cool little mini cat from Sunset Valley. Alright, so let me shift these over here and show you this guy. Still in bloom and going strong. I don't see any wear and tear on the flowers on this Cattleya hybrid from Waldor. You can see the other flower there, but this guy is really wonderful. This is SLC Deborah Off Mill Pond and HCC AOS award-winning Cattleya. This is one that they created a very long time ago. So really special plant. Excited to have that in the collection. Okay, well, my last remaining flower, I should say there's two good size flowers. Don't seem to be too beat up yet on my Cattleyanthe Ficon ball. Still in bloom. It's been in bloom for like 6-7 weeks. This is like, seems very surprising to me, the length of time this Cattleya mini cat blooms for. So really pleasant surprise. You can't go wrong with a long-lasting blooming Cattleya. My Dendrobium aberrans, still in bloom species. Dendrobium, it is on its way out for sure. Just has a couple more flowers remaining, and then it'll be done and grow a little bit, and we'll see it flower again next fall. but very long-lasting Dendrobium flower. Speaking of long-lasting Dendrobium flowers, my Cuthbertsonii by Dendrobium tannii hybrid is still very much in bloom, and you gotta love those Cuthbertsonii hybrids. They're becoming really popular among folks. All right, now I am going to cut to a video of the flower fully open, but it isn't open as I film this video. But this is my Sophronitis cernua, one of my Sophronitis cernuas. This guy is in bloom. He's gonna have 4 flowers when he is fully in bloom. But I wish this video could do the flowers justice because they are so bright, almost like fluorescent. They stand out. They're really, really pretty. I don't think I have a flower that looks as bright as that. This right here is another Sophronitis cernua that I'm waiting to bloom out for me as well. So it's got new growth. Fingers crossed. We'll see. We'll see what it can do for me this year. Okay, coming down here, I don't really have anything in bloom except for my Maikai. I'll show you those blooms, but nothing else is in bloom at the moment down here. But again, that's just a beautiful flower. How can you go wrong? Really lucky to have this plant. And can't wait to see it bloom again. It just continues to bloom, so can't go wrong with that. All right, down here, not much in bloom down here as well, but this guy is in bud. I'm really excited to highlight this. This is my Golden Boy, RLC Shunzi Golden Orange Golden Boy, and he may be in bloom by the time this video ends. If he is, I'm going to show you that. If not, here's the buds. So, really cool miniature Cattleyas. You can tell if this is your first time watching my channel. Love my mini cats. So, alright. So, speaking of cats, that's my Cattleya tent, or my warm grow tent. And we're going to transition over to the intermediate tent. Alright, over to that. And now we're going to go over to my intermediate tent, or cool growing tent, where I keep a lot of the orchids that tend to like cooler temps growing well. And I'm really excited to show you some of the blooms that I have, and I want to start off with this brand new addition. Check out this Masdevallia. This is a Masdevallia siphonantha, a super uncommon Masdevallia. I am so excited to have it in my collection. I'm only aware of, I think, 2 other people in the United States of America that have this plant. It was imported by the person I bought it from as Angulifera, I believe was the name. And it bloomed out and it ended up being siphonantha. So what a crazy beautiful plant this is. I love the flower. It's got 1 bud coming there, you can see, and another spike on the way. But how cool and unique is that flower? My gosh, I love this plant. One of my new favorites. Excited to grow it and hopefully have divisions and maybe sell one day. Super, super cool. All right, over here is my Pleurothallis Dorthii. And you can see one of the wonderful little flowers there. It's covered in blooms. This is one of those Pleurothallids that blooms just forever. And has super cute cup-shaped flowers. And they're really unique. Pretty easy to grow. I haven't had any issues growing it in my intermediate conditions, which my tent tends to be, for those of you who are wondering, high of 70 during the day. Typically around mid 60s usually, and then at night it drops down to high 50s and about 60 degrees. So it does stay pretty cool, and it definitely helps my cooler growers to be happy. Alright, another cool grower. This is a hybrid Lepanthes calediction by Bulbophyllum, known for these super unique little leaves. I really like these plants and the blooms that come along with it. It doesn't look like I have any blooms at the moment, but really wonderful little plant. Otherwise, there's not much else blooming on this, on my little pole here. Have lots of buds on my Pleurothallis mistax. As you can see, the wind's blowing on those buds, so they're bouncing all over the place, but a wonderfully easy Pleurothallid. And then this is my Masdevallia papulosa from Ecuador, and it has 2 spikes that will be in bloom for my December What's in Bloom, but wonderful mounted plant that I picked up from Andy's Orchids. And excited to see the blooms. I saw them when I bought it, but this will be the first time highlighting. Alright, right here I have my Dendrobium laevifolium, the Orium variety, and Dendrobium laevifolium pink. Really cool little Dendrobium. My first time really growing this type, and I know that they can be a little tricky, so we'll see how they bloom out. Now over here is my Masdevallia decumana. One of the blooms is on its way out, but I'll highlight the bloom when it was still open, but it has many other buds on the way. And this is a wonderful species, Masdevallia, that grows well in intermediate conditions. Here is my Pleurothallis praecipua. Has 2 blooms on the way, actually 3 blooms. And wonderful, cute little pink flowers that appear out of the tip of the leaf, where the leaf develops from the stem, and that's pretty characteristic of Pleurothallids. So, wonderful little plant. Over here I have my Restrepia dodsonii and Restrepia royai, no blooms there. And above it is a Phalaenopsis celebenensis, no blooms there either. I also have this Sphaerocerum buxifolium, known for these little white berries. This is a neotropical blueberry, native to Ecuador and its surrounding areas, but as you can see, it's known for these cute little white berries. There's many different types of Sphaerospermum, and I really like these plants, and they dangle and drape and can grow into wonderful little house plants. So happy to have those here in the collection. These are 2 Masdevallias I picked up at the Massachusetts Orchid Society show. Nothing in bloom, but we have Masdevallia neseniae and Masdevallia pachyura variety Pardinella. There you go. And no blooms there, so stay tuned for them when they do bloom, but excited to have those in the collection. Here is a Masdevallia Angel Heart Ellen. Still in bloom for me, and it blooms pretty consistently. These wonderful little pink flowers, and this is the first time it's bloomed out of the same stem, that flower at the top, so that's kind of new growth habit for me. I've not seen this flower do that before, so pretty exciting to have it bloom like that. So, pretty cool. Over here is a Bulbophyllum species that is not identified, and it does have a spike, so stay tuned for that in December as well. But wonderful, huge mounted plant that I can't wait to show the flower. Right here is my Pleurothallis viduada. I'll show you a video of the blooms. You can see the 2 blooms there, many spikes on the way. But this is a wonderful, easy to grow, fast growing, larger Pleurothallid. So really cool flowers. I love having this in my collection, and it can grow to a species or a specimen pretty easily. Here is Masdevallia copperwing, Vecchiana by decumana cross. And there's the flower spike on the way. The parent I showed you earlier is this little guy here, and the flowers on this are really cool. Kind of keeps that triangular formation that the decumana has in the flowers that it it creates. So, wonderful little plant. I don't have anything in the back there to highlight on that back wall. Hopefully I'll have some blooms soon, but I have a Bulbophyllum wolfii, Tiorum, so many little Bulbophyllums in the back, so nothing to highlight bloom-wise right now, but still just to highlight those plants. And then I do have this Restrepia brachypus, wonderful orchid from Equigenera that is growing out. It was a division of a friend's plant, and now it has many, many new growths, but a wonderful little yellow flower. I should say it's pretty large for Restrepia, but still super cool little plant. Blooming once again for me is my Bulbophyllum gracillimum. Has these spider-like flowers, and they're really wonderful. Hopefully I'll get it to focus for me, but look at those little bouncy lips, all the lips bouncing up and down in sync. Really huge fan of Bulbophyllum. And as you can see down here, I have my Bulbophyllum putidum, one of the worst smelling Bulbophyllum in my entire collection, but a gorgeous, gorgeous flower to have. You can see just the detail that only Mother Nature could create on a flower. Really wonderful plant, and it's blooming out of 2 new growths. I think this has got to be the 5th or 6th flower spike coming, so it can put out a bunch of blooms once you grow it up big and strong. Here's my Paph fanaticum and Paph chewy rookie. I decided to move them over here into my cool intermediate tent to grow them up big and strong. But that's about it for my paths. I have one other path I'll show you in a little bit, but definitely starting to move away from those as they require just a little bit too much attention that I'm not willing to give, and my collection interests have evolved. Here's my Phragmipedium hybrid, growing well, no flowers there. This is a wonderful Masdevallia that I thought was Gold Dust Romeo, but it actually might be the hybrid Masdevallia Whiskers. So I've actually was told by the grower that it may be a different, might have been mistagged. So excited to know what it actually is now, and name it correctly. Nothing growing particularly interesting over here, so we'll skip down to the bottom where I have a few blooms. This is my Bulbophyllum Sunshine Queen Yellow. It is almost constantly in bloom. It is definitely a specimen-sized plant that I've grown it up to be, so I'm sure that helps, but these flowers are really, really pretty. They do have a slight fragrance that isn't pleasant, but the flowers are really cute and definitely not strong enough to smell away from the plant. A couple other Bulbophyllums. Bulbophyllum Elizabethan Buckleberry was in bloom last month. Here's the Bulbophyllum Echinolabium and some Bulbophyllum biflorum and Bulbophyllum Emily Segrist, all of which not in bloom right now. And this is my Paph Olivia that is about to bloom, out of season. Might have been the temperatures in my grow space and the change of temps from a warmer apartment to my new apartment, which is much cooler, and seems to be happy and blooming out of season for me, so can't complain. Now last but certainly not least, I wanted to highlight this little shelf that I've put in my living room to highlight some of my blooming plants. And this is the headliner in November. My Phragmipedium Fritz Schomberg Kovacii cross. What a bloom. I mean, come on, this thing is amazing. And there are several buds on the way in this Kovacii. 3 to be exact right now, and I think it's going to send out even more buds from each. But what a wonderful flower this is. Really reliable blooming Phragmipedium, and this is the second bloom for me. Bloomed for me last year right around this time, and really grateful to have such a gorgeous specimen in my collection. So check that out. Really, really wonderful plant. So that is how we're going to end this video. Thank you so much for watching Orchids by Bryan and this What's in Bloom Orchid Collection update. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I look forward to another year's worth of orchid content. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Bryan from Orchids by Bryan. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.